All right, so what are we talking about today?
Well, cause and effect.
Exactly.
Exactly. Nice. I'm glad you approve.
Okay, I won't distract you. Go ahead.
No, you're not.
Cause and effect.
Yeah. I think for me, cause and effect means how am I affecting the people around me? Specifically my wife. How do I, she would probably tell you that, I can't, quote, affect her without her permission. Mm-hmm. And I get that. I understand that. But I strive to do my part to kind of keep my side of the street clean. Mm-hmm. And realizing that there's certain things that I can do or not do that, might have an effect on her. One thing that we're really good about as far as relationships things is asking for permission. She'll be venting maybe about something, feel the need to talk something through, and guys are fixers.
Right.
Okay, well, let's make a list. What's the first thing on the list? Okay, we're organizers and everything, and she's really good about just saying, hey, look, I just need to talk, Mm-hmm. And but I try and ask, do you want input? And if she says no, I just need to work through this. I'm okay with that. So as far as cause and effect, I just try and be really aware of maybe not overly aware, but aware of phrasing and words. Sometimes we can say stuff that on the surface seems innocent enough, but maybe on a deeper level it has an effect on somebody. Mm-hmm. And so you got to own it.
Hopefully
own it, because that's where the growth is at. Mm-hmm. Is in the ownership of it, not the avoidance of the question or the situation. I think that's real important too, is because vast majority of the stuff that I've learned through life has been a result of awkward situations. Mm-hmm. The good you learn from the good times too. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But I really have learned to kind of relish the little awkward things, or maybe a little bit of uncomfortableness, or especially if you can maybe push somebody's boundaries just a little bit to get them to open up, Mm-hmm. But I always try and be respectful too. So, but yeah.
I love that didn't always love that uncomfortableness, but that uncomfortableness it's like a place for me to grow. It's like a place where I'm not comfortable. I'm not okay with, like, something's not jiving with my reality and what's happening, and more importantly, who I think I am in that reality. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I can choose to react and be at the effect of what's happening, or I can choose to be at the source and own that I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
And then I can it actually opens me up to seeing, like, well, what is making me uncomfortable? Because it's, not always apparent. Mm-hmm. And, it's I like what you pointed to with your wife. It's yes, we're responsible for our own world in a way that, like, how I relate to the world and how I relate to people is all on me. Mm-hmm. And, if someone calls me a jerk at the grocery store, I may blow them off, but somewhere that I felt that, right? Mm-hmm. It's somewhere it's like, man, what did I do? Like, I'm analyzing myself. And so there's like a responsibility to, like, what am I saying? How am I being? Is my emotional state affecting the person next to me?
Right.
Is in a positive way. Could be positive too, or it could be negative, right? And I think in a marriage, for me in my marriage, it's been so critical to allow everything to arise as it is, you know, and that is not I would say, a muscle that comes from birth.
Right. I would say it's an acquired skill.
Yeah. And I had many relationships where it's like, what's wrong with you? You're crazy. Like,
right.
you know, all the trigger words that women love, you know. But
Lord, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Yeah. But after trying to change, you know, the women in my life so they'd be more, you know, whatever, I noticed that, you know, it's like I wanted them to be more like men. And it's like, wait a minute, do I want that?
Yeah, right.
So, you know, in my marriage today, like it's been, my wife, after many years, is a complete mystery to me. And that magic is something that I don't, like, there's an alchemy there that I don't mess with. I don't try to put my mind and understand it. It's not going to make sense. And so, you know, and I get to learn from her, you know. And it may not be the way I would do things, and it may not be the way that I would react, but there's a very particular way that she's reacting for herself, and it's helping her grow. And it has been amazing. It has allowed for so much to happen inside the marriage, and it allows for me to have that with her as well, you know.
Which lends itself to what we were discussing before about intimacy, because that's, for me, that's true intimacy. If you're not willing to put your relationship on the line, then is it really a relationship? And is it real intimacy? You know, with my wife and I, after 40 some odd years together, there's still times when I'll look at her and I'll think, I don't even know who you are. And it's so cool. It's so cool. And to be honest, there's times when I'll throw out a little bit of a tidbit of information, just a sentence or something that I've never shared with her. Something about me or growing up, or it doesn't matter. And she'll look at me and say, I never knew that, you know. And things like that, that's, to me, that's where the that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
You know, that's the big part of the love equation for me personally, is being able to put it on the line respectfully, honor each other, absolutely, but to keep growing together is essential, so.
You hit a key word, the growing together. I would say the word growing. That was one of my bottom lines, is that to be with an individual, to be with my husband, someone who is committed to their own self-growth and development. Because one person will outgrow the other person if they're not growing, if they're not challenging themselves and owning it. Like, what's your piece of this argument we just had? Yeah. What's your piece of why we're unhappy right now? Because it's really easy for us to point the finger at the other person. So it's what's my piece. You bring what's your piece, and then we share that. And if we own that together, we can grow and we can evolve. But when one person doesn't, they said, it's your problem. I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. It's your problem. It's like, the old saying, it takes two to tango. So that growing and being able to grow together and evolve and mature, it's the honesty with yourself, and it is the honesty with being able to say, give me a day or two, but I'm looking at my piece. I'm looking at how did I help create this unhappiness or this distance that we are feeling. And then when you both can bring that, there's a place to heal. So it's just really important that we each do our own personal work and then put it in the soup, makes a better soup of life.
Right. Well, and in our instance, there was a time when we first Marianne and I kind of first started on this journey, and it was my journey and her journey of growth, and then it was our journey together too. And there was a time when I had to just accept the reality that I may be with her and I may not be with her.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's true.
And that's a very sobering thought, when you think about it. Because you think, you're committed and you've been together for so long and everything. And then all these dynamics start to change. And when you focus on the idea that because again, I think it's a guy thing, change can be scary, especially personal growth, wanting to be better, wanting to expose your vulnerabilities, to anybody, but especially in front of a female. Yeah. It can be scary stuff, But you just keep trying to own your own stuff, realize that you throw things out there and you can make or break somebody's day.
Oh. Like that.
With one word. That's a huge responsibility.
Oh.
And a gift.
Yeah.
You can actually choose to say, hello and something very nice. And it could shift that person's whole day.
Or good morning.
Yeah, or good morning.
Fall into a habit of not even saying good morning. You're just up and you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's something popped up for me and what you said about not knowing if you're going to be in this relationship or not. And when I experienced that with my partner, and I said it to him openly, I said, I'm growing. There's so much changing. I am totally giving it away. I'm actually becoming more spiritual, more connected to a higher power, and I don't know what God has intended for me. Now, I have a piece in that. But I said, I don't know if we're going to be together or not. And I said, and I'm not planning anything. And that was the most freeing. I felt so free to be myself and either be accepted for that or not. So let's make sure that when we come against those hard points of honesty and responsibility, that we speak the unspeakable, because it really does free us to create something even better than what was before. So how do you guys want to close this?
Boy, be the source of your happiness. Like, really, be the source of your happiness and infect everyone around you with it, Like you have that ability. And, people are mysterious, partners are mysterious, relationships are beautiful, and open heart communication is just, I think we've said that a few times in this show. It's like open heart communication. It's not about whipping somebody with your needs and wants. It's about like expressing yourself fully so that the relationship can grow in whatever direction it needs to grow.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I agree with Michael wholeheartedly. I think that it's so vitally important to, well, let me back up real briefly. Happiness. We could do a whole segment, maybe we should. What is happiness? What's it mean? It means something different to everyone. And I've kind of redefined happiness in my own mind, and I've kind of switched a little bit more to content. Because for me personally, I used to do the seesaw thing, and Marianne and I would do this, and we finally recognized that with each other.
Yeah.
I was up, she was down. When I was up, that gave her permission to be down, metaphorically speaking, and vice versa. So our goal was to level out that seesaw, and that's really helped a lot, But I guess my point is I've kind of redefined what happiness really means, because, if you're happy, that leaves the opening for sadness, and if you're sad, that leaves the opening for happiness, So I think for me, I'm striving for being content and accepting the reality of whatever it is. you know,
A consistency.
a consistency of contentment. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
thank
a good way
you.
of putting
That was
it. That's a
great.
good way of putting it.
Great, thank you. And I can't believe it. You guys just laid the foundation for what Ryan and I are going to be talking about.
Oh.
So, I mean, you know, it's like happiness. You know, so
wait.
thank you so much.
If I had a mic, I'd drop it.
Boom.
So we're going to be going live on YouTube, and share it with your friends. You know, if you like this, like, share it, pass the word. This is great information, you know, and if you haven't gotten it from your parents or from you know, spiritual guides, or, you know, you can get it from us. So join us and have fun with us.
Nice.
Have a great day.
Yeah, for sure.